Now, what I'd like to do is add a configuration here to auto create the table for me. And let's move back into our application.properties. And we'll add in this new configuration for auto create. I'll give this property here spring.jpa.hibernate.ddlauto equals create. And remember, this property here will drop the table and create the tables for our entity classes. And now we run the application. And let's take a look at our logs here. Then we see that it dropped the table if exists for student. And then it'll actually go through and create the table. This is great. I wanted it to auto create the table for me, and that's the actual SQL that's being applied to the database. And then we can move down here and we can see the insert statements that are happening for those 3 students that we're inserting. Let's swing back into our MySQL workbench. Let's run our query again. Let me slide this up a bit. And great, here we go. We have our data, John, Mary, and Bonita. As you can see, there was no need for us to run an SQL script. JPA Hibernate actually did the work for us in the background. Now let's go ahead and run the app a couple more times. So I just ran it once. Let's run it again. So that was 2 runs. And notice here, every time it runs, it drops the table and then creates the table. So you lose any previous data that was out there. And let's verify this in our MySQL workbench. Notice here, we only have 3 students. Even though we ran the app multiple times, every time it would run, it would drop the table and create it again from scratch. Anyways, I just wanted you to be aware of how that given configuration property works. Now let's go ahead and change this configuration to update, because what we'd like to do is keep the previous data. And now let's go ahead and run our application one more time. And now swing back over to our MySQL workbench. Run our query one more time. And notice here we have our old data that we added previously. And now here's the new data that was added with that most recent run. So it's keeping the old data and then also adding the new data. So it's not dropping a table, simply using the existing table and adding the data accordingly. And now let's run it a couple more times. So that's 1, run it 1 more. So 2 more runs here. Swing back over. Do a little refresh. Scroll down a bit. And so notice here we ran it twice. So that's 6 people that we added, or 6 students that we added. And that's the new data that we have for our application. Anyways, just wanted to show you how the configuration properties work for automatically creating the database tables from Java source code. Good job.